3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back, Patchwork listeners. It's your longtime host, Daniel Weaver, here with Tyler Swinford.
Hey, Daniel. Glad to be here.
We're glad to have you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited. I've got a lot of exciting things happening that I want to talk about.
And this is just the dangedest thing because I'd love to talk about all those things with you, actually.
Dude, and hopefully people want to listen.
Color me surprised, but some people may not know this. They may have heard the name Swinford, but where does the name Swinford come from?
So, interestingly enough, the name Swinford comes from my last name. And that's pretty much the whole story of that. Everybody's always called me Swinford since basically high school, all my friends and stuff, just because there were so many Tylers. So we were like, okay, we're going to call you by the last name. And that's kind of just become my first name at this point. Not many people...
And the name's just kind of naturally stuck.
Yeah, not many people call me Tyler anymore. Besides close family.
It does sound sort of fantastically bizarre anytime someone does call you by your first name.
It feels bizarre when I say it myself.
Have you ever thought about legally changing your name to Swinford?
No, I think if I was going to change my first name, it would be to Caleb, probably. But I already have a cousin named Caleb, so...
I mean, you say there can be two.
That's true.
In really big news, word through the grapevine is that you do have an album on the way. Could you tell us just a little bit about that?
Well, I do have an album on the way. It is coming out on the 26th of September. That's a Friday. A New Music Friday, if you will. And I've been working on it on and off for about 2 years. I've changed the track list 1,000 times. And then one night I couldn't sleep, and I said, okay, let me actually finish all the tracks. And I just did it all in one night. And
Is that true?
yeah, finishing the tracks. Like, they it's just like re-recording vocals and just adding parts that I was like, putting on the back burner. And then I finally did it. Oh.
What's this freaking album called again?
Well,
for the audience.
It's called Burro, which is kind of a play on my first album, which was called Horse, and a burro is a type of horse, donkey creature thing. I really got the name from my manager, Eric.
Who is Eric?
Dude, he's like the Rock of Patchwork,
Like Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Or yeah, I know. It's pretty funny. But is he kind of like that?
But yeah, he's like the Rock of Patchwork, and not like Dwayne Johnson, like the Rock, like a sturdy figure of patchwork is what I would...
Foundational.
Yes.
He's like cement. That guy is hard as a rock. With the name Burro and Horse, does that tie into the sort of like theme of the album, or is it sort of just like a fun name?
No, well, I didn't know what I was going to call the second album for the longest, and I couldn't really think of anything better, and then Eric was just like, okay, how about you just call it like Burro, or like something to do with another type of horse, and then we kind of just evolved that idea into being like, okay, let's do like a trilogy of albums, so this will be the second one, and they're all going to be named after something that's like equestrian related, I suppose. But there's no reason for it to be a horse. It could have been any animal,
Thinking in the spirit of Burro, what was that sort of initial spark that set off and made Burro?
Do you mean like the songs or like the name? I'm assuming you mean the songs.
The songs album as a project overall.
Well, I knew I wanted to make more songs. I knew I wanted to make another album because albums are awesome and they're so fun to make. And at first it started out with this one song called Madeline that isn't even actually on the album. anymore, but it just kind of started there, and I would get like these bursts of inspirations and just start writing stuff. I'd do like 2 or 3 songs in like one night, and then nothing for like a month. It was just like that. I don't know. Then everybody was just like, "Dude, you have to make the album. You have to finish it."
Right. So it sort of came about as you went along.
Yeah, well, life happens and stuff. You go through sadness and happiness, and throughout that everything, all the ups and downs and whatnot, I was like, "Oh, let me write a song." During this moment, they're kind of little
So
windows into how I was at certain periods.
So we're pulling a little autobiographically, listening to these songs, seeing into the life of Swinford.
Autobiographical in the sense that like I was listening to like specific songs at the time. Like there's
What
this
were you listening to?
there's this one song on the album called Wino. At the beginning I do like a falsetto voice, and it was just inspired by Waiting on a Friend by the Rolling Stones. Because at the beginning he's just like scatting basically. I was like, oh, let me do that. Let me just steal that idea. And that's kind of what a lot of the album is. It's just me stealing other people's ideas and making them my own.
Who else is on that list? We got the Stones.
Yeah, a lot of Rolling Stones is on that list. Who else is on that list? That's a good question. Paul McCartney, obviously. I was
What era?
70s Wings era typically. I've always been inspired by Paul. He really inspired my first album a lot. So I kind of tried to not do so much of it this time. But a big song that really inspired me was "Bless the Telephone" by Lavi Sifri. Because that song is just beautiful. It's like, oh hey. And I wrote a song on the album that started out as me just trying to learn that song. I couldn't get it down, and it was just kind of playing the completely different picking pattern. So I was like, oh well, I might as well use this.
Was it like the actual, like the structure or like the chords of the song?
It
Or
is
like
the same exact chords. It's just like a different picking pattern, and I think I moved the capo a little bit. But it doesn't sound anything like it anymore. But at first, it definitely started as this one thing. That's how I write a lot of my songs. I feel like it's just like trying to copy something.
Mm-hmm. Would you say Madeline, even though it's not there, that still feels like the heart of the album, or is that just the starting place?
It definitely is like, excuse me. It's definitely like the heart of the album because I felt like a lot of my stuff from like the first album or the EPs was maybe a little too sad. So it started as like an effort to like, okay, let me like actually try to write like love songs. And it's funny because I feel all the best love songs I've ever written, they've never really been about anybody because it's always just been, on my own or whatever. And I find that funny. Kind of like inspired by the famous Beatles song "I Will." It's like speaking in the perspective of this is gonna happen to you. So it's kind of like that. That's what I do feel like that's a big part of the album as well.
Trying to write happier songs bit, or
Uh, Trying to write happier songs, yeah. Like I was just like tired of writing sad songs. I would, I'm like glad to be added to playlists on Spotify, but I would see myself in like sadcore playlists, and I'm like, ah, I'm not a sad guy. Like I'm a pretty happy dude. So I was like, let me let that side of Swinford out into the world.
what was it like? What was the POV of writing happier songs compared to sad ones?
I thought it was really tough at first, and then I I just kind of it just kind of clicked for me. I listened to "This Must Be a Place" by the Talking Heads a lot,
Uh-huh.
and that was like I think I saw an interview where David Byrne said he was just like, yeah, it was just kind of like a bunch of random phrases about like a feeling. I was like, oh wait, let me start there, and that's kind of what a lot of it is. Like a lot of lines I've written for this album kind of don't mean anything. It's just like, oh, this syllable fits nice with this syllable. I'm not trying to be poetic or anything. Just fun.
Kind of like expressionism sort of artistic flair going on.
I don't
Vibes based.
I don't know if it's that deep, and then maybe that's how people interpret it. But I was just having fun with it. I think you can hear that I was having fun with it in a lot of the songs because I just feel like while like recording the vocals, I was just smiling the whole time.
It was more of a like a fun. You were having more fun
Yes,
making this
yes,
album.
it's the most fun I've had making an album, or just making music. It like brought the fun back into it. And another fun thing about it to me was that I really tried collaborating with more people. There's some pretty cool features on the album. I got a bunch of my friends just to like help me like with little things. It's a beautiful
Who's on
thing.
there?
Well, I can't spoil everybody. I guess I can because this probably won't come out until after the album. But um, there's Mila Moon, Chase Reedy, and a couple other people who I'm not gonna spoil. And definitely not because I can't pronounce their names.
I guess listeners will have to listen to the album to find
You'll
out.
have to hear all the Easter eggs.
Or like when you write a song, do you leave room for potential collaborators? How do you view collaboration? On
Usually,
your
with a
part?
lot of songs, when I think beforehand, I'm like, okay, who do I want to make a song with? Like, do I want to make a song with Daniel Weaver, for example? And I would like write a song with that in mind. Um, and it usually just kind of works out. And I guess that really speaks to how talented all my friends and music associates are.
Building from there, what were some particular defining moments of Burro, and potentially some behind the scenes stories?
Ooh, behind the scenes stories. Dude, I can't even remember the track list anymore. There really is not that many behind the scenes stories because a lot of it was like, okay, plugging up my Blue Snowball microphone to my MacBook, let's record. Like that was kind of it. There was not much past that. There was a
You
couple.
just sat down and made the thing.
Basically,
A couple of, huh?
there was a couple tracks on the album that I didn't even save the stems for because I didn't think they would be songs. Like it was just happening, all fast.
Just like everything mixed down, and that's the only thing that exists.
Yes, there's
crazy.
several of the songs.
Roger just mixed it like that.
Yeah, Roger. Well, they were already kind of mixed. Because I when I record, I try to make the microphone, just like have everything placed right, just so it'll sound nice and make it easier for whoever's mixing. With this album, it was Roger mixing, and Roger did a great job. I couldn't give him enough credit.
Shout out to Roger. What was it, or like what state was the album in when it was handed off to Roger?
All of the songs were done. It just needed a lot of mixing. All the vocals and guitar were pretty like easy to mix, from what they told me. But like there was some like stuff like harmonica, and it would be way too loud. And then hearing them mix it, they just like made the harmonicas perfect. Cause when I record harmonicas, I typically do like 3 tracks layered just to add like a harmonica choir, I guess. So and then they mixed it perfectly.
Like same notes or harmony?
Like the same notes, but like little variations. Kind of like guitar weaving, but you could call it harmonica weaving, I suppose. Oh.
Were there any other sort of statements about the album you were wanting to get in?
No, not that I can think of. It's just happening so fast, and I can't wait for it to be released and for everybody to hear it. I think it really shows a huge step up from just my musical abilities and my songwriting and everything. I'm very proud and can't wait for everybody to hear it.
I've heard a lot of demos over the past, I guess, a few years at this point.
Yeah.
But there's so much of my favorite Swinford moments are happening all on this album, and there's a lot of them, and it has a lot of my favorite Swinford songs ever, and I'm also excited for people to hear what I've been hearing, and it will be awesome once it's finally out and they're able to.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
curious to me. I'm interested to know the answer. If you had to be a cryptid, which one would you be?
Oh, easy. That's an easy answer. It's a hoop snake.
Hoop snake.
Yeah.
I'm actually not that familiar with the hoop snake. Could you inform the audience which cryptid the hoop snake is?
Well, the hoop snake, it's so silly, but it's basically just a snake that will bite its own tail and start rolling, like down a hill or something.
I am looking at a visual of the hoop snake. It does seem to grab a hold of its tail with its mouth and is moving at devilishly fast speeds from what I'm looking at.
There's like stories of it chasing people and stuff. Also, just to clarify with the audience, I don't believe in cryptids. I just really like them. I don't think a hoop snake is gonna chase me.
Swinford has he's underselling it a bit. He's a bit of a cryptid expert.
You could call me a cryptozoologist because that's a fake science anyway. So I guess I am one.
What made you go with the hoop snake over other possibly more well-known cryptids?
I don't know. I like Bigfoot. I like the Loch Ness monster, but something about like the hoop snake is just like it just reminds me of like something that like your like cousin that you don't really know that well, and you're like on a camping trip, and they're like, "Hey, you better watch out for the hoop snake," you know? It's just something you tell a kid, and I don't know. I just love that idea of it.
It does seem a little more grounded, perhaps. I feel like if I was 12, I would probably believe that a hoop snake might be able to chase me down.
Yeah. Well, it's also so interesting to me too. Just like these people were a lot of these stories, like people were seeing something. Now, it obviously wasn't a snake biting its tail and rolling down a hill, but you know, what was it?
This is making me think. All the stories. This feels cryptid adjacent. All the stories you would hear of sailors back in the day seeing sea monsters just all the time, and across like various different cultures. Do you think that they were seeing something that we're just not seeing now?
I mean, they probably saw more sea life just because the oceans weren't as, noise polluted. So they were more inclined to come to the surface, like whales and stuff. Like, because imagine, like, 1492, you're sailing the ocean blue. You've never seen a whale before. You've, like, heard the name of a whale. You're not going to know what it looks like, though.
This naturally leads into my next question, which is, if you had to choose one comic book character to represent the Burro album, which character would it be?
Oh, well, it would be topical to say Superman, but honestly, probably be Jimmy Olsen.
You're going with Jimmy Olsen. What about Jimmy Olsen makes him the choice?
I don't know. He's just a friendly guy, and he's a nice guy, and everybody loves him and sees, that he's like chill, and that side of me's never been presented before in music. So
Burro is kind of a nice, lovable, and chill perspective on Swinford.
Yes.
Well, that answer works for me, and. You said Superman. It's got me thinking about the Superman movie. Putting movies in my head. Which movie about ants do you relate to the most?
Oh, it's a movie about ants. Probably Bug's Life.
And what about Bug's Life is sort of definitively Swinford?
Well, it's just like Flick is a little bit of an outcast. People don't hate him. But he obviously just doesn't fit in. Not because he doesn't want to, it's just he's a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other Ant movies suck, so...
I don't know if I would go that far, Swinford. And just to kind of rewind it back to Ants, and I'm sort of thinking about that end final scene when everyone kind of pulls together to fight against the natural ant enemy. are they crickets?
Grasshoppers, I believe.
Okay, I got that slightly wrong. But there's a kind of a large community effort, and just thinking about Burro, there's a lot of collaboration happening. I'm just, I'd be danged if I didn't kind of pull the collaboration and community effort thematically together. It's kind of right there for the taking.
It is. I mean, I cannot be more thankful that all these people helped me out. Ryan, Big Pony, a legend, amongst Patchwork. I think he's probably helped half of us record stuff.
For context, Ryan Big Pony sort of done exactly what Swinford just said. Probably played 1,400 instruments and mixed and mastered at least, I think I have a number here. It says 208 singles, albums, and EPs across all of the members of Patchwork, which is a very impressive stat. So shout out to Ryan, and a big thank you.
From our house to yours.
If someone were to listen to only one song from the album, Burro, which would you suggest?
Oh, you put me on the spot. Oh, God. Oh, that's a tough one. Because, I've did this whole thing. I've talked about how happy the album is and all that. But there are some sad songs on there. And I do feel like the song Understood, which is the penultimate track on the album. I think I used that word correctly. I that song is really special to me because I basically wrote it about, like, it's not sad to me. It probably will be to other people, but it was just kind of like, oh, I got diagnosed as bipolar, so let me write how that feels. And it's just like a very, like, it's probably the most, like, open song on the album, I guess.
Would you say it's the most open you've been in your songwriting career thus far?
Yes, 100%.
What's sort of like the experience of putting it all out there in song and having it be prepared for just sort of everyone to listen in on?
I have not thought about it at all, honestly, and that's what's kept me sane, I guess. I'm just, like, I know the album's coming out, but the other part of me is like, oh yeah, this thing's happening. Oh well, let me do something else, I just,
Right.
It still doesn't feel real yet, I guess is what I'm saying.
I think you can hear it there, and when one sort of in general goes to a place like that one sort of less shielded, and it usually naturally lends itself to, like, you can sort of tell how, like, real the lyrics feel, and I feel like it helps resonate to other people, and you can, like, feel that that's happening, and I feel like it's happening on that track. So I think that does lend itself to making that song awesome in particular, if I can give my take on it.
Dude, give your 2 cents.
Did you have any, like, final closing statements you wanted Patchwork listeners to hear?
Well, I would like to say that I really hope everyone enjoys the album. I hope they enjoy this interview, because if you do, there will be more coming. Not with me specifically, but just more in general. And I hope people pay attention to what we're going to do with Patchwork in the future, because we have some crazy things in the cooking in the kitchen.
And Swinford is not wrong about that. There's many things we got working under the hood, and I'm excited for Swinford's album Burro, releasing on the 26th, to be the first in that long lineage to be.
It is kind of funny that Burro is going to be the first, like, I guess, official, like, album made and released for Patchwork. And then, but before, when Barclay was a thing, I was also the first, like, release there. This wasn't planned or anything. It's just kind of funny that way.
Well, thank you very much, Swinford, for taking the time out of your busy day to join us on this interview. And I wish you a Godspeed and Merry Christmas.
Godspeed, Merry Christmas to you, Daniel. And to the listeners,
we love you.
Wanna make you happy.